the Sermon a Day. I am Pastor Tom Estes, and this is your 5-minute sermon for January 14th, 2013. The title of today's message is, Be the Man That God is Looking For. I want to read a verse for you out of Ezekiel chapter 22, and it's verse 30. It says, And I sought for a man among them that should make up the hedge and stand in the gap before me for the land, that I should not destroy it, but I found none. What a sad situation to think that the God of heaven and earth, the God that created all things, would look for a man among us, but not be able to find one. I tell you what, if that doesn't remind you of the day in which we live today, nothing will. Men are not men today. Men are encouraged not to be men. You have young boys being encouraged to play with dolls. You have young girls being encouraged to take karate and become tough. Society wants nothing more than to reverse the roles. And while we understand that society wants to do that, we understand that society wants to destroy the home. It wants to destroy the roles of the husband and of the wife and of the father and of the mother. We understand that. But let it not be so among God's children. We as God's children ought to thrive within the boundaries and the limitations to which that God has given us. And one of the things that we need in our society more than anything else is men. Real men. Godly men. And I looked at 3 types of men that I think that God can use greatly. One is a man that is serious. You know, men today are nothing more than boys. Men in their late 20s and 30s are more concerned with video games, more concerned with worldly music, more concerned with worldly movies than they are leading their homes, if they even have a home. You know, for a man to be a leader in the home, for a man to be equipped and able to lead a home, he must be able to support a woman spiritually. He must be able to support a woman financially. He must be able to support her emotionally. It takes a man to do that, not a boy. But we in our society today, we encourage women to take on that role of leadership instead of men. We need men who are serious about the call that God has placed on their life. We need men who are serious about the job that God has given them. Sadly, far too few men are serious about it. The next thing we need is a man that will strive. A man who will not be a weakling. A man who will not be a pushover. A man who will stand up for the cause of Christ. We have men today that say, oh, I'm too backward to go out door knocking trying to tell people how to be saved. We have men to say, oh, you know, I'm too backward to take a stand for the cause of Christ. God didn't make me that way. Oh, let me tell you something. If God saved you, He did make you that way. He wants you to be a man. He wants you to be a man that will stand up for Him. Consider this. Jesus Christ died for you. He died for you. He shed His blood for you. He was scourged for you. He took on a crown of thorns for you. He went through pain and suffering that you and I cannot imagine. And then we say as men, oh, God's not calling me to take a stand. God's not calling me to stand up. He wants me to hide in the home. He wants me to hide behind my wife. He wants me to hide behind my pastor. Not so. We need men, real men, and a real man will strive for the cause of Christ. Thirdly, we need a man who is sympathetic. You know, we are so enthralled and engrossed today with violence, violent video games, violent movies, and we watch death, we watch rape, we watch these things all the time, and there is no sympathy anymore. A real man can strive, but at the same time have sympathy. Consider this, men, as you drive down your neighborhood to your house this evening. What are you going to see? Homes full of people that are dying on their way to hell. Where is the sympathy? Where is the compassion? Where is the concern? Where is the love for a world that is dying and on its way to hell? If we are going to stand up, if we are going to make a difference, one of the things I say all the time is we should be God's agents of change. We know our country is going down, but we should be the agents of change in our country. Well, guess what? That's not going to happen unless we start to have some sympathy toward those that are dying and on their way to hell. And I do believe if we are sympathetic, we will take that stand. We will strive. We will be serious about the work that God has given us to do. To think that there was ever a time where God would look for a man and not be able to find one. I hope in the year 2013 that if God looks for a man, that both myself and all of the men out there that are Christians, that we will stand up and say, Lord, here am I, send me. I'll go to the mission field. I'll be a pastor. I'll be a youth pastor. I'll be a Sunday school teacher. I'll take that stand. We need men that will do the work that God has called us to do. The great thing about God is if God gives you a job, He will make sure that you're equipped to do it. He will not leave you behind. Men, let's be men. Let's do the work that God has given us to do, especially with our nation going down the way it is. Let's step up and be the men that God is looking for. All right, that was your sermon for January 14th, 2013. I thank you so much for watching these. I appreciate those that subscribe. I appreciate those that I've talked to, that have told me nice things about it. I really appreciate it. And I just want to again, invite you to our website, southsidewinterhaven.com. And if you're ever in the Winter Haven, Florida area, we'd love to have you. God bless you and have a great day.